I really didn't mean to keep you waiting, except that we happen to have the NOPV round 2 launching today and training for the national field supervisors for the impending polio campaign. And things dragged beyond time as expected. Sincere apologies in all honest. I didn't mean to waste much time like that. Okay. I guess we can just make progress, right? Good. Thank you very much. So I would encourage that as team or any member has something to say or to draw an attention, just raise your hand or speak up, interrupt with a section, and I'm flexible with that. Okay, good. Okay, so we have for the first 2 days an engagement section that we would need to be talking about enhancing immunization supervision, building skills, the motivation and performance. And it's dovetail in actually the current trend now. So we're looking about digitization, data tools, and using things effectively. And for all of us, we need some of these things. We would crash it together. So today, as we end with the building skills, motivation, and performance component, I would introduce the other dynamics of the data tools and share some materials with you, because we can't be efficient data developers or field data collectors without having more time. So when I share those resources with you, I believe that you could hasten the process of catching base so that tomorrow we can do a lot of hands-on, and then we will all be able to at least develop your own tool in a data collection tool as you may have been using in the past. Okay, so for us, just as a synopsis, just to mention, is my screen visible anyway, just to confirm that? Okay, so as a synopsis, just to say that effective supervision is actually the backbone of every immunization program. And I want to believe that the cohort of persons online here, one or two having something to do with immunization or in public health. And public health greatly without immunization is actually a difficult one. So because it's known to be one of the most effective tool in handling diseases in all. Now, the section actually will equip with the practical strategies to strengthen supportive supervision as we talk about, enhance staff motivation. Sometimes people are not doing well, not because they don't know what to do. It's essentially because they are not motivated to do what they have to do. And you need to help bridge the gap between what they didn't know and then how you motivate them. And then you just drive them towards high performance. So your ability to have these skills and to put things right is very, very crucial in making sure that you succeed at all levels, and be able to help implement supportive supervision techniques to help better your vaccination coverage and also the program outcomes in general. Whether you are a frontline, you are a program officer, you are international level, you are a national level, whatever level you find yourself, or a backdoor person. In fact, the discussion is to ensure that you can make some lasting impact, and you would actually enjoy what we want to talk about here in this section. So what are the key section objectives? The goals of supportive supervision we would highlight, the methods to enhance staff motivation, how to demonstrate the observation and some of the feedbacks that we talk about, and the joint problem solving techniques. So sometimes when you do find a problem, your ability to use the joint solving problem techniques is very essential, because for people, they find it difficult just picking up solutions from in quotes, strangers or supervisors. So you need to make it in such a way that they are contributing to the problem solving. And once they contribute to the problem solving, then they feel part of it. And being part of it at all gives them the opportunity to own and to follow through with the processes as is expected of them. And they also fill the gaps in the staff knowledge and the skills that is expected, and also explain the actions needed for some follow-ups. Now, throughout the section, we would like to reflect on your supportive supervision practice and check if something needs to be changed to make more effective, okay? Let me be quick to mention that some of the resources I have used in these slides were adapted from some training curriculum that we held with the WHO when I was with them. And so you see some of this is very useful, but then they target our target audience appropriately. Okay, so for us in all, when we talk about effective supervision, supportive supervision, what are the main goals? We have the long term and we have the short term. So for the short term, one is just interested in talking about how to monitor the immunization service delivery. So I'm on the field now. It takes me about 10-15 minutes to engage a team. Whilst I am there, I'm able to monitor the service delivery that is happening. That is a short-term thing. Okay, I'm able to link the national and the region or the provincial and the health facilities together. So at a particular point in time, it connects these teams together and then increase staff motivation. I have visited places that on typical islands in Tonaboma, Dija Island, and then the staff there is like, wow, I'm motivated. You came all the way from the WHO country office or from the national office to come and actually see us do the things that we do here. So that is a kind of staff motivation for them to see that, yes, there are people out there who are actually interested in the things that we are actually doing. So staff motivation is also crucial. And then another short-term measure, the knowledge and the skills. So maybe you got there, somebody is giving a particular vaccine. Instead of say giving IM, this person is giving subcutaneous. Immediately impacting knowledge and helping that, oh, this could have been so later on the side. That is a knowledge or skill that you have introduced. Let's say they are packing or they are filling vaccine, let's talk about rather safety boxes. So they are filling the safety boxes to the brim. You got there, you saw that, this is not supposed to be the right thing to be doing. Rather, just fill up to 3/4 and then discard the rest or cover it up and put it at appropriate place so it can be really autoclave. Now, that what you have done is to introduce some form of skill. What you have done is to introduce some form. What you have done is to. Oh, sorry, a call is coming through. What you have done is to introduce some form of skill directly to the person. Let's say you got there and the team is actually struggling to, as it were, draw their immunization monitor charts. So that immunization monitor chart that they are struggling to do, instantly, the support you are giving them, you are building their knowledge gap, you are also helping increase their skill. Now, what you are doing, it's an instant, it's a short-term goal. You are solving a problem. Building community support. Also, sometimes you have to visit a facility. From the facility, you want to do some follow-up to cases at the community level. Once they see you at the community level, they feel like, yes, it's connected. So that kind of effective supervision aspect comes up because you are building community, and the healthcare workers, the volunteers that we've gone to see, they feel also very comfortable that, oh, somebody up there thinks about me or cares about me and is interested in the work that I do. Develop community healthcare workers capacity. So this we refer to the volunteers. This work, as you go to the grassroots level, interact with them, you are able to also engage them and sometimes sign in their logbooks and educate them and give them new knowledge and ideas. So this campaign that is coming on, for example, as you move around and you interact with the health system and you visit the volunteers, you are also using the opportunity to engage these volunteers and to bring them to speed about what is new. So IPV second dose introduction is coming on board. What do you have to tell these people? So you propagate the message about the need to accept these vaccines and to help. There are the plans of HPV vaccination for girls. 9 years to 14 years, hopefully to start next year. How do we communicate some of this information to them? You connect them and then they get the long-term benefit. Now, in the long term, these things you are doing, what do you achieve to do? It yields to high quality of services, because then staff are enabled, they have the required knowledge, and they can do better. So once they do better, they are in a long term improving the quality of services, and this quality of services will help the facility to also do well. Build a strong system to manage new initiatives. Very, very important. And then makes the health system resilient to handle pandemics and disasters. And overall, you are able to improve the program performance because you are handling the missed opportunities, you are educating them, they understand everything we talk about. And all this, if you put together, the long-term goals for supportive supervision we know can be achieved by systematically working on the short-term goals. So it's not as if you can quickly rise, say you want to achieve the long-term goals. No, the long-term goals will be achieved only if you work very well on the short-term goals as you see them like that. As a supervisor or supportive supervisor, somebody going to do that work, what really are the things that you must take note of? It's very, very, very important that you have a plan and it must be structured. In fact, supportive supervisions are not witch hunting. To achieve your desired result, it must be planned. So for example, just this week and or last week, the National EPI office went out for a quarterly supportive supervision monitoring. Before that field activity, official letters through the DG and Director of Public Health have been written to the regional directors that a team from the national level will be coming around for supportive supervision. That is the norm, because there are times you may need to go impromptu to see things for yourself. But to really do a proper supportive supervision, your team must be ready for you. It must be planned, it must be regular. Allocate sufficient time for supervision. So when you are on the field and you are engaging with a team, you are actually wholly there for them. I remember one of the visits I was in Uti region, and specifically for one of the districts, I planned doing like 2 districts in a day. But for the whole day, when I went to see the challenges they were facing, and we started developing the issues, working on our action plan, there was no way I could have left. So I re-strategized and I spent the whole day in that whole district, and that is allowed because things turned out differently when you went there. And eventually, when we finished with that day and we left there, the whole team was happy because they felt that there has been an impact in spending the time with them. You need to understand the local context. So local context, what are we saying? Whatever the jurisdiction, the region, the district, the facility, you must appreciate the context that you find yourself. You yourself, before you go down as a supportive supervisor, you must be proficient in your teaching, mentoring, and communication, so you can be very good. Somebody has an issue, say monitoring chart, you quickly look at it and you can guide the person through, but you don't know how to talk. I.e., the slightest thing, you are annoyed, you are shouting at people, you don't find any empathy, you are not, no, you won't survive it. So you need that skill.
Wait for me.
Everywhere you get to, you need to harbor the opportunity, the culture, such that you can mentor others. Also, knowing is one thing, teaching is one thing. Gradually, you need to build on your skills as a supportive supervisor to be able to what? Teach others so they can also appreciate and do better from what they usually do. And then you cannot do all this without actually having a feedback. At the end of the day, you need to generate feedback. The feedback, as much as possible, must be constructive. a feedback that yields positive outcome, a feedback that actually helps to solve a problem, that makes people motivated to do more. There is the one you give on site instantly. As soon as you are working, you see the things, you give instant feedback. We will normally call that debriefing. Don't joke with that. Be straightforward. And mostly, I recommend that it is written or bulleted. What you found, what can be done, and how to improve upon it. And then when you go back, you do well to write your report and share with the team. That's the only evidence that they can follow through to execute what you have found. Now, don't do the other way, where on the site you are giving them positive feedback, but the minute you left there and you go to your office, you wrote a very damning report about them and you push to them. No, nobody would like that. Nobody would like that. Please be honest. If you said A in their presence, ensure that it is A that you are saying in your technical report finally. And do not be changing your words. Don't let them see the report different from what you told them during the debriefing. Very, very important to highlight. Okay, there are ABCs of some staff motivation. The ABC, the first is autonomy, the second is belongingness, and the third is confidence. For the autonomy, as a supervisor, to help motivate staff, clearly let them know their roles and expectations. A lot of research have suggested that most of the motivational related issues that clients, staff face is just because they really don't know their roles. They don't know what is expected of them. So they are moving about. And eventually you come back and you ask them to have done ABC. Meanwhile, they didn't know about that. So clarify their roles. You are in charge of coaching. You are in charge of ANC. You are in charge of family planning. You are in charge of HIV. Once they know and they know you are expecting from them HIV reports, you're expecting from them ANC reports, then they have no excuse. That alone makes them motivated. They know that, oh, this is my contribution to the entire office. If we talk about the Dedeso Health Center, my contribution is the AFP case search that I do. So they are expecting that I do case search and write my report on that. They are expecting that I do CWC and submit reports on all the clients that I have seen. That is not enough. Involving staff in the decision-making process is crucial. One of the greatest motivation staff have ever talked about is that they were not involved. And they feel motivated when involved in the decision-making process. So what's the decision-making process? We've heard that you're going to do, let's say, NOPV round 2, 21st. As in charge, you just came and you said, we are going to do campaign. I will tell you what to do next. The following day you came and straight away you told them, you go here, you go there, you do this, you do that. It's not enough. They want to be part of the process. So how did you include them? Did you reach out to them by saying that, oh, we have this total number of teams. How do we make sure that these teams are able to serve our total population? How do we make sure that these teams are able to reach here? What time do we go? What time do we come? How many vaccines do we need? How many local persons do we recruit? Do we do static? Do we do outreach? That is all that they need to know. Sometimes you know as a manager what to do, but just bring them together, share the idea with them and let them appreciate what we are talking about. Eventually, they get motivated. Use respectful language when assigning tasks. In fact, one of the greatest thing I learned as I grew up in my career was where I rose up to be the head of disease control, regional level in Eastern region for some years before I left there. And this is, for me, at my age and working with very grown-up personalities, right? From the region, the district, the sub-district, the facility level. But what was the greatest thing? The ability to respect them and see all of them as team players. Involve them in decision-making process. If you speak with people with respect, in fact, they will accord you with the needed respect that you deserve. And I must say that the region was one of the nicest places I worked. And when I was living, it was still a great and a fond memory I still have to date. So the point I'm making is that respect people by using the appropriate languages that you deserve to use. And it makes them feel belonged and autonomy is created. The belongingness come up by explaining the rationale behind the decisions. So for example, I'm saying that henceforth, all other programs that we implement, all supervisors must go to the field. You won't sit in the office and take the money. As a leader, you have said that, but what is the rationale behind that? Otherwise, people cannot rally behind you, and that is a difficult one. Let them know that sitting in the office and still taking the money derails the purpose. You won't be able to build capacity at the lower level, and the challenges or the problem will still persist. Once they understand the reason behind the decision you have taken, the tendency that they will support your decision is so high. But if you don't, eventually, it will be so difficult for you to actually get them rally behind you at the end of the day. Now you need to organize team building activities and welcome new staff. So every new staff that I got actually was welcomed, introduced to the entire team of colleagues that we work with at the time, and also have an orientation. People come to you in different organizations and they have different mindsets on transfer, on post. Don't assume they know it all. Have that section, engage them, what you do, how you expect them to do and all that. And eventually they feel welcome at home. Once they feel welcome, they feel belonged. And if they belong, you are pushing towards the B aspect of motivation for staff. All this while you notice that we have not spoken about money. So motivation is not all about money. The next thing I want to talk about is appreciating everyone's unique skill. So if you are a real manager and you actually want to succeed and move on well, know that just like the body parts, the head, the nose, the mouth, the head, every aspect play a unique role. You cannot take only the head and say, the head is the best. Your other team members will not support you. Appreciate. And I recall when I once made a statement in a meeting, I said that in that meeting, if the cleaner or the orderly had not come to clean the desk, we the officers couldn't have come here with our laptops to work. And they were all like, hey. Yes, that is the truth. That is the extent to which I encourage all of us to appreciate the unique rules. You can't compare apples and mangoes. You don't put a rabbit there, put an ant there, and said all of you run 100 meters. No, they can do best in their jurisdictions. So appreciate the unique roles each of them bring on board. Somebody may be good at organizing. Somebody might be very good at speaking. Somebody may be very good at reporting. Just acknowledge that and bring them to bear. And once they come to bear, you are able to actually improve on that. Confidence. So recognize team achievements. So it's not about I. No, you will fail. To get them and to build their confidence, let them acknowledge the team's achievement. So the entire district got nominated for DG's annual prize, or the district assembly has given an award. Do not see it as you, the district director, you have worked hard to get the award. No. It is the team's efforts. So you must really take note of that. So you must really take note of that. The other part in terms of confidence is providing learning opportunities. People actually would always want to learn. Where there are workshops, seminars, be floating it around, encourage people to go. And eventually when they come back, they feel motivated. Sometimes some of them may not be general workshops organized. I remember way back, about 15, 16 years ago, when I was working in a very remote district in the country, I saw in a daily graphic, University of Ghana published some short courses they were doing in data analysis, SPSS, EpiInfo, and all that at the ICT department. I saw this, I said, this daily graphic I saw in my director's office, I like this. But where I find myself, how can I? I checked, the amount was so much I couldn't pay at the time. I said, well, let me try. I picked it. I went to the director, discussed with him, says, we don't have money, but when you get the opportunity, we will let you go free, as in give you some days off to attend. Then I started making inquiries, only to realize that it's something that I could reach out to a partner to support. So eventually I wrote to an NGO, and the NGO was ready to support because I demonstrated that when I attend that workshop, which was like 2 weeks, it will make impact in the district work. So they asked me to apply, write a proposal. I put in the proposal, I submitted. My director endorsed it. And the agency sponsored the workshop for me. For me, in that rural district, to get opportunity to go and stay on University of Ghana campus then, to do that 2-week course was so motivating. And I realized that I could do a lot, irrespective of where I find myself. So that alone was something that built my confidence so much. And I think we can do similar things. Give constructive feedback and acknowledge progress and offer non-judgmental support. So do not be so judgmental. When you judge people, you cloud their mindset and their ability to think through and be more innovative. So speak constructively, acknowledge what has been done, see the progress that is going, and encourage them to do them more. And eventually, you would actually get the results that you need. Pay scale, promotion, job security, all these things come about. But as a supervisor, your role is to be a role model. Provide and nurture the culture and compassionate leadership, and this will help you so well. Now, to talk about all this, to have actually this done and done well, there are some 4 critical steps that you could consider for a successful supportive supervision visit. The first one is observing an immunization section. Then you give a feedback. You conduct joint problem solving, and you provide performance support and follow-up. So we are talking about immunization and motivating the team. As you get there, just observe. Observe means you are watching. You are not talking too much. You are just quiet and watching. But let them know so that the Houghton effect doesn't come in. That is, people observing them, and because they feel being observed, they get worried and all that. No, let it be an ambient environment. When you finish, you give a feedback, and then after the feedback, you connect with them to solve the problem that you found. Do that by not judging them, by not insulting them, by not doing things that would tarnish their image in the presence of their clients. And then when you are done, you give a follow-up visit later on. So how do you observe immunization section? The first thing, prepare. So prepare means what? Before you go, Okay, before you go or you do the visit, review the data, past report, and agreed follow-ups. So if it is not the first time you are visiting there, you've been there before, what were the issues you discussed in the past? Don't go and reinvent the wheel. Make sure you are on top of issues. So somebody was there the last time and had an issue with plotting of the monitoring charts. You are going this time. Do not overlook that. Go and check what action has been taken. If that challenge still persists, then you have more work to do. Don't leave without solving that. If you need to appreciate their performance, have the data beforehand before leaving. Arrive early, you do the self-introduction, the purpose of which may have been done already. So like I cited, letters were sent to the regional director. But as we go to Uti, for example, we had to engage the regional team again, let them know why we are there, how long we are going to be there, how we intend to work, and eventually what we intend to achieve. And let them know that we are with them together. And it's not as if you are different and they are different from you. Observe carefully. How do you observe? It could be the use of a checklist. That's why I said our section tomorrow and other things will take us through developing checklists yourself using electronic means so that you don't carry a lot of books and tablet and things on you. Now with easy and free systems, you could develop short tools that you could use on the field. Now, by use of the checklist, it is covering the components of your vaccine administration, your safety-related issues, your data recording, your coaching, and communicating with clients. Be discreet. Observe quietly without disrupting work, and do not publicly criticize staff like I had mentioned. So be discreet in that approach. Just be quiet and be observing and be taking down notes. It's not a time that he's engaging a staff that you go there and say, you should have done that. You should have. No, they will rebel. Indirectly, you are speaking, but they are not listening. So, to help the process, just take notes. And later on, when you meet them in closets, you rebuke them, you guide them, and you motivate them. Not in public. Nobody would like that. Just like you and I would not be happy with that. Using a supervisory checklist, it's so helpful. In fact, it encourages you to be on track and not to be doing things haphazard. What are some of the advantages? It's a reminder to check if important tasks are conducted correctly. So yes, you have ODK, you are doing yes, no, yes, no, yes. No. It's not just about the yes or no. We just finished the training for the national monitors and I was telling them, as national monitors going to the field, it's not just about filling ODK yes, no for the campaign. No. If for that alone, in fact, you and I, our class 3, class 5, class 6-year-old child, if you set up the ODK and you tell them to fill it, they can fill. It's about you understanding what you are putting in there and the actions you are taking after seeing whatever you have seen. So some people would be supervisors. Some people will be monitors. In this context, we are not talking about just monitors. We are talking about supervisors. A monitor may just not be a subject matter expert, but will be able to look at A, is it A or B? And then just respond. So you are just an observer in layman's language. A supervisor, you must have the subject area understanding. You must be on top of issues. You should be able to show and exhibit skills and professionalism, mostly above your supervisee. I have seen instances where people have gone out as supervisors, as monitors, and eventually they got rather supervised or they got monitored because their supervisees were far better, in fact, ahead of them in terms of the things that they were doing. And I'm sure some of you would have an experience where people have come from higher level to your end for monitoring or supervision, and you feel that this person is totally empty. Is there anybody who can share an experience like that with us? Anybody having an experience where somebody came from a higher level to do a monitoring or supervision, but technically the person was empty, i.e., you knew better than the person in the subject matter? Anybody to share any experience on that?
Yeah, Nicholas. Nicholas, do you want to share?
No, I went off and I'm joining again.
Okay, sorry about that. Kindly mute yourself.
Okay, is there somebody who has that experience where a supervisor or a monitor came to you, but you realized that this person was empty? You were far advanced in terms of the subject area than him or her.
Yes, I have experienced such.
Okay, so how is the experience? Just share with us.
The person came from WHO, and
Okay,
that one was like on M chips. When we went to the first chips compound, the way he did the questionnaire, it wasn't going on well. So the next community I opted to do the filling, this thing for him. He accepted. And from there, he allowed me to do the rest. And when he came back, he thanked me so much. He didn't understand the questionnaire the way I did. So I've experienced them before.
great, great. And so you see, in as much as this person wholeheartedly accepted the approach and even thanked you, this person has a lot of, EI, like emotional intelligence, right? So they're able to decide quickly and change their stance, not feeling that coming from a higher level, so I shouldn't. No, 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 no. And that is how it is. The supervisor can be the supervisee. When you don't plan well, you go there, you'll be supervised. And I say that a lot because going around now and with the advent of technology, capacity building is something you can't do without. People are doing exploits, so you must be open to learn. But please, just know your subject matter area before you move to the. Otherwise, the reverse will happen. In that case, because you were the one helping, you felt comfortable. Trust me, if the shoes had turned and you were the one in his shoes, and your supervisee is now teaching you what to do, if you are not very, okay, you will not feel well. You will feel very uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable situation, okay? So in order to prevent that, always have an understanding of the subject area before you move out. Okay, facilitate discussions about what is working well or not, and then provide an objective feedback. Track changes over time. So, for example, the tools we are using, we're just sharing some feedback with them, and you could tell from 2019 when we started polio campaigns, the performance over time. And I was sharing with the Greater Accra region, for example, that this current campaign, the round one with it, the district that filled the LQS, for example, were so high. Only 3 passed out of the 29, so 26 filled. Now, if you look at the previous performances, what has been the trend? Okay, so you having a tool that variables do not change frequently also helps to track the change over time, and you can make impact. And then compare health centers and facilities. So because you are using the same standardized tool, you are able to compare performance across board. Now, those of us in public health, I believe you are familiar with what a case definition is. One of the relevant reasons we use case definition is that it helps you to be able to compare, add numbers, count together. So somebody sees fever, rash, couple spots, so and so, we say suspect measles. If I am in Tumu and then you are in Esikado in the Western region, once you are using the same standard set of definitions, if you say you have 20 cases of measles and Tumu says they have 10, we should be able to compare the two of you. That's why cholera cases in Accra and that in the greater Accra, in the western or in the eastern region could be compared. That is the essence of using a tool or a checklist. We can also do well to compare districts, regions, health facilities, health centers, hospitals. And most of you are familiar with the dashboard indicators that we have been doing to track performances, okay? All those ones are part. And also helps you to identify a training need. So sometimes you have been to the field and by use of a checklist or a tool, you are able to identify that, there's a gap in this. So recently on one of our rounds, when I noticed a particular, in fact, no, it was a team. So our team noticed a particular issue with understanding and the use of the fridge tag, okay? This was a gap that was identified. So once we identified the gap, we quickly came up with how to do OJT. OJT is on-the-job training. So we immediately provided on-the-job training to the team, worked them through it, and I showed them documentaries, videos, and I also recorded myself documenting the process, and I shared with the team. Well, again, when we're having the COVID and issues were coming up on the DHIS, some say I'm not able to synchronize my batch number is not showing my this. Quickly, once it comes up as a training need or a gap, we quickly do a video, and those I'll do the video or a voiceover, then I will circulate across board on WhatsApp, and then it guides people throughout the process so they're able to solve their challenges. The potential problems with long checklists. If you make your checklist so long, it also comes with a challenge. It brings fatigue, reduce the time for a feedback session, and may discourage the supervisors to even conduct future visits. So if your checklist is so long, people are not too happy with it. Oh yeah, the staff no pentamaja because it's too long. So in as much as you need a checklist, you must ensure that this checklist prioritizes on the most important things that you need, and then see how you get it used. If you have a longer checklist and you are unable to actually analyze the outcomes of that checklist, then it's not worth using it. Every data you're actually picking, you should be ready to make analysis out of it and see an impact afterwards. Now, still building the environment. So the first one we discussed was about the person, right? Where we said the ABC. But now the environment for a feedback must be created. How do you do that? Environment, we mean the rapport. Be interested in how people are doing. Yes, you are there because of work, but by starting the discussion and showing interest, oh, it's been a while. Good to be here again. How are you doing today? How was your weekend? That alone relieves people of the potential stress that they find themselves. Are there any challenges that greatly impact your work? You are interested. What is working well? How can I support your well-being? These are things that helps you to create the environment for a good feedback. Then when you are done, you go to the immunization specific questions. So here you are talking about the main challenges of not reaching your immunization goals. Are you able to answer questions from parents and community? Are you getting support from the communities you serve? Sometimes the mere fact that they are not getting the needed support from the community members, that alone can be stressful. It demotivates them, they do not honor their outreach. And once they don't honor their outreach, their performance becomes so low. Now, how can the region, the national or other level of persons help you in supporting these issues that you have raised? These are relevant and it makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel okay. All this creates the rapport and sets the tone such that they will be able to open up to you and then give the necessary information that is required. Now, how do you provide feedback on observed performance? Remember, the way you give your feedback can put people away or can draw them to you. So as much as possible, always clarify the observed gap in performance. Don't speak wholly. Be specific. So what is incorrect? What was missed? What is incomplete? So somebody was filling the safety box to the brim. That is an incorrect technique. Teach them and mention correctly that you were overfilling. Don't just write you were not using the safety box well. No. Not using the safety box well means a lot. Be specific. You were overfilling safety boxes as more than required. What is missed? Maybe you were supposed to educate clients about their next visit after the immunization. They didn't do that. Say that, oh, you can improve upon how you conduct your immunization sections. No, that is so generic. What is the gap? There was something missing. What was missing? What was missing was that after engaging the clients, they didn't add on the key messages for the follow-up visit or for them to return and the date. That is clearly something that is missing and you must fill in the gap. What is incomplete practice? Maybe they start something, registering their client. After that, they serve their client with their immunizations. They do not enter the records into the maternal and child health record book. That is an incomplete service that has happened or practice. Be specific and say that after rendering service, you did not complete the documentation in the maternal and child health record book. That is specific. They tally 2 when they have vaccinated 3 people. That is incorrect. So just be clear with some of these things and then share standard operating procedures or policies if available. So anytime I move around, I have a folder I call I think last year I took the team through, those that were able to join, the toolkit, essential toolkits for public health practice, which has all the SOPs, the documents, the guidelines, the standard practice, the manuals, the forms, everything. So somebody calls now, please, the monthly immunization reports. I do not have a copy. I can just go there quick at a click, pick it, and I'll forward to the person. Somebody just come, oh, the IDSR third edition guideline, I don't have a copy. You should be able to go to that bank, pick it, and then drop it for the person. So for you, as a supervisor, you should be able to, because you just should not identify the challenge without giving the solution. So you came there, they are overfilling. Meanwhile, it is part of the EPI manual or SOP or field guide. So after you help the person to understand why you must not overfill, injection safety and all that, correct the person and you add on the document, which is the SOP. And now you explain the consequences if incorrect practices. Adhere to these standard guidelines as we have mentioned. Eventually, you can harm yourself, you can harm the community, and you can harm the vaccinee. What that means that you are bridging the practice of injection safety. And that is not what we actually need to do. When you have given all this, it's not just about you talking. Sometimes, not sometimes, people always have reasons for what they do. Me and you, our kids, the things they do, if you always have time to listen to them, you'll be amazed. Because they always have a reason for the things that they do. Except that that reason may not be appropriate. So after you have identified this as a gap, you have discussed, kindly accord them the chance, the opportunity to explain themselves. As they explain themselves, it gives them opportunity to buy into the issue and be ready to now open up so that you can help them. But if you go and you pick the issues, it's supposed to be this, that, it's not that, it's not that. Oh, then you are becoming like a robot. And in that case, they will quail. You can give your recommendation to them. It will be your plan as a supervisor. When you leave, they will never adhere to that because they were not part of the process. After all, you did not even listen to them. How do you expect them to now buy into the issue that you are talking about? Okay, so the next critical thing is in giving the feedback, you need to develop a plan. Develop the plan, providing the plan could be that you are providing them with some on-the-job training. You are giving them some job aids, and it is calling for a refresher training. So that plan must be clearly stated. Based on what I have found, I need OJT. So instantly, I have demonstrated how to complete the immunization monitoring charts, or I have showed you how to handle the road to health card, or I have done this, that is instantly. But let's say it is something about injection technique. You can mention it, walk them through, but a follow-up visit is essential. Let's say it's about hand washing. They didn't do it well in your presence. Are you leaving a job aid there that will demonstrate the various steps? So your visit must leave prints that are useful. Address additional resource needs. Sometimes they need extra resources and they are not communicating rightly to the right people. So just by you going there and they telling you, you can be the right person to liaise with the appropriate authority that needs that service to be provided to get it done, and then provide continuous support. The support should be continued such that after that monitoring, you don't just end there. It could be remote checkup. It could also be periodically visiting the team. I want to say down here that for effective supervision and a feedback session, focus on the process, not the person. If you have a clear mindset conscience and you now itemize the issues on the processes, and you are able to talk about the processes and identify the gap and fill in the gap without attacking the personalities of the people involved, there are high tendencies that you succeed and succeed well. So just focus on the process and not the person. Okay, there are times that you find very difficult issues and you may need to handle them. Example of these difficult issues could be somebody who is always absenting himself. People who are coming in late without good excuses. And then people having complaints from others. The first thing to handle such a difficult situation is to establish a calm environment and listen carefully. As much as possible, avoid a premature focus on the issue. It's difficult, right? Yes, I know. When somebody have given injection wrongly by not adhering to the right protocols and there's an abscess and you are investigating for AEFI in your facility and you say that you don't want to, the staff is misbehaving, you want to query the person, and you said you should take your time. No, it's difficult, but that is what makes you a supervisor. You must have a calm environment. You yourself, you should be calm. Listen to the people talk. Don't conclude. Don't have any premature issues. As much as possible, overcome resistance in a constructive way. Resistance in a constructive way. So some people can be very resistant to new ideas, to new technology, to new principles, guidelines. Oh, yeah, there's a no. Yes, those we call the MBs, okay? It happens, but as much as possible, do not escalate the argument. Don't raise your voice. Have a nice way constructively to handle the issue. As much as possible, in handling difficult issues, keep the language respectful. You as a supervisor, your ability to respect them is good enough. Don't do blunt criticisms. Don't blame too much. Do not label. Once in a while, you fall off track, but try to manage yourself so you are in tune. When you are in tune, you are able to get people aligned with you better. Value staff experience and local expertise. You can be an expert in your field, but there's always somebody who understands the area better than you. Don't the experiences and the expertise the people have locally. Typical example, when you travel out to do works and you try not to adhere to local context, you will struggle to succeed. People in various jurisdictions know better and they appreciate what they do. Your role is to make sure that you are playing your expert role well, but not interfering with them and their processes. As much as possible, respect them that they are also people who understand what they do and they have local expertise. Now, in handling these difficult issues.
When did you change? When I was so.
Okay, do I have a new facilitator to support? I can hear somebody speak. Great. So develop practical solutions collaboratively. When an issue comes up, so it's staff who is always coming to work late. Remember, we have said that don't conclude that, oh, there's now here, fees obey mama, they be late in now, but no, relax. Don't raise your voice. Respect them, don't blame them. Now, in solving the problem, once you have had time to listen to them, you ask them, so this lateness that is happening, you say you take your child to school first before coming. You said you do this, you do that, you do this. You don't have a car, so you walk and you take commercial means, all that. Which of them can we solve? How do we solve it? And when we solve it, would we see an impact in the problem? And they will help you through the process and suggest, okay, then I think we can do this. We can do that. Let's do this. And periodically be monitoring how the progress is going. It's the same way like we handle our kids at home. They are not tabula rasa. They know certain things. Listen to them, help them through the process, solve the problem with them, and then have a system to be monitoring whatever strategies you put in place to ensure that things are on point. Now, how do you communicate effectively? The ALMR comes in handy. Generally, ask open-ended questions. When you ask open-ended questions, people have opportunity to talk plenty. Yes, let them talk and then be chipping in a few things. Am I right? So I think, so just be chipping in those things. But the important thing is that data, so for example, data shows coverage is lowest in community X. What could be the possible reason? Then they will start telling you, oh, I think that that community is also and so, we haven't been going there. Allow them to explore. They will speak. And then you will get the key issues from them. Listen. Listen carefully. Acknowledge their problems. Don't say that it must be so, so it should be so. Sometimes, if you will have time to listen to acknowledge the problems people go through. So just the recent polio campaign we did, there was a team, the whole country, everybody have submitted the LQS assessment. But the team that went to the Peru East or West Territory, they had not submitted. 3 days, 4 days, 5 days later, and the whole country were waiting for them. I sent message, no response. We have given feedback, no response. So I said, let me follow up. So I followed up with a call one day and it went through. And I said, Honorable, you are keeping the whole country hostage. The LQS report is not out. What is the issue? The guy started to, oh, I went there, Peru was difficult, I did all the work, I've done this, I've done that. My report, I have submitted all. I said, but we said feedback on the platform, and every day we were reminding you that one report outstanding Peru, one report outstanding Peru. He says, oh, no, he thought it was for his IM, not the LQS. We said, oh, no. I told him, no, go back and check again. He came back and said, oh, boss, I have seen the report on my form, not knowing on my ODK, I had not submitted the form. That is why it's still there. Oh, and you kept the whole country hostage. But he was getting worried. Oh, apologies. So I said, well, it's okay. It's happened. For me, I'm happy because you don't need to travel all the way from Kentampo back to Peru because you are back to Kentampo now. You have it on your phone. Let me guide you so that you can now submit the report. Guided the person, he submitted the report. And this was such a revealing process for him and for the entire country, because that meant that we needed to do a lot of justifications why we couldn't get assessment for that particular district. Sometimes when people are speaking, nod your head, smile, and do that correspondently. Sometimes some of the smiles are fake. Don't do smile when you really don't have to smile, okay? Make sure that you are on course. And then do not be looking at your watch, your phone, and around the room when somebody is actually talking to you and needs your attention. As much as possible, use the mirror approach. The mirror approach means that repeat your understanding of what people are saying to see whether the main reasons they are telling you is what they actually are communicating. Oh, so did you mean to say that all this while when I have been speaking, you were not hearing me? The person says, yes. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I meant just a recent slide. The previous ones, I heard you. That mirror you are providing gives people opportunity to listen to you because you are communicating effectively. And then respond. When people tell you their issues, if you have opportunity to respond and support, kindly provide the response and then move on. Now, when you are done with this and you have communicated, how do you do the joint problem solving? You must identify the root cause. So whether you are using the fishbone analysis method, whatever approach you are using, identify the root cause of the issue, review the data from varied sources, focus on the important aspects of the problem, and then break the problem down for better understanding. In fact, one of the books I read so many years ago and I still like is by Brian Tracy, titled Eat That Frog. The whole summary of that whole book is that if you have several frogs as meal to eat served on your plates, look among the entire frogs, choose the biggest and the ugliest, and eat that one first. If you're able to eat that one, all the small ones will be easy to eat. It still goes with the Pareto principle, which says that close to about 20% of all the things we do lead to the success in the 80%. So the 20-80 principle or rule. So for all of us, but it depends. Others will also tell you that a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. So rather eat the small one, then you are motivated to eat the ugly and the biggest one. But it depends on your school of thought. Try to get the root cause of the problem. And once you get the root cause, so like the fire service people will do, anytime they are educating you. They say when there is a fire you need to extinguish, don't just target the flame. When you target the flame and you use it there, it won't work well for you. Actually, focus on the base of the fire. So get the root cause and the problem will be solved. Brainstorm and analyze the solutions. Nothing comes easy. Brainstorm on all these things. Get the short term, the long term. Look at the pros and the cons. Have a plan to solve it. The plan, do you need to do it in phases? Do you need to engage some partner? Should you do it alone? Do you need community support? Do you need some resources to get it done? And when you are done, how do you monitor the issue? So that when you get there, you know you are there. Other than that, it will become business as usual. But that shouldn't be the case. So as much as possible, do well to get the root cause, brainstorm and analyze the solution, prepare a plan, monitor the progress, and adapt as may be needed. I have a few tips for finding solutions. You can always reflect on past experience. There are times you have been to places and you see that a challenge you found somewhere appears to be surfacing elsewhere. In that case, whatever experience you have, you can bring to bear, and it limits the time you need to think through the process to actually solve the problem. Be a detective. Detective here means that gather data, get community information, align with individuals, and get the appropriate information you need. Seek different perspective. You don't know it all. In fact, immediately you begin to think you know everything, that's the time you realize that you are not human. You must appreciate that people know better or certain things that you don't know. So always seek the views of others. So it's a challenge you have faced and you are in a team of 4. Reach out to your colleague. Oh, how do I do this? We are facing this. How do we do that? It could always be helpful, and you'll be amazed the solutions that will come up when you seek for help. And that delves into the area of asking for help. Always very, very, very important. Do not stay alone and rot. For all you know, what you think is a challenge is not a challenge for somebody. And what rather is not a challenge for you is a challenge for someone. So then teamwork becomes very, very helpful. That reminds me, in those days, I mean, when you are in school and you join study group discussions, certain things that you find very difficult to understand and comprehend, somebody can explain it so easily without struggle. And the things that you think that is easy for you, somebody now is struggling to understand. The ability for you to share what you all have as strengths and weaknesses helps you move forward and to succeed as Ubuntu. You win because I win, and together we all win, okay? There are some options to enhance staff knowledge, actually, and the skills. One, we have talked about the on-the-job training. 2, we had mentioned the issue of job aids. So the on-the-job trainings are actually not expensive and do not need to be away from work. It's instant. The job aids, they are reminders, they reduce errors, the constant assistance from others, and other support systems. Some can be in person, some can be online trainings, and even this engagement we are having is part of the process. It's a support option. And sharing available learning prints, materials in print, in videos, and in other forms. All are very, very important. What do you do after you are done with supportive supervision or a supervisory visit. The first thing is to share a report. So if you do a visit and you are unable to write a good report, sometimes we want to write a perfect report, and that is how come that report never gets written. It shouldn't be a perfect report. Whatever you have, draft it. If it's even a pager, write that pager and push it. Update staff. Prepare and share the latest job aids and materials that are available. Don't come back empty-handed, or don't keep them to yourself. Share. In fact, you learn more by sharing. Last week or so, we were in OT for digital micro planning training. And I was telling the team that after this training in GIS, if you go and hide it, that Makosuyaba, you are the one that you will forget more. And you attend all the trainings, but you can still not do anything with it. So the best way, go and catch people, go and gather your group members, your staff, conference room, let director give you snack, and then use the opportunity to train them. The more you train, the more you know. It is one good opportunity that most of us are missing. Resolve issues. When issues come up and it's within your reach, help to get it resolved. And always follow up. So that is called a serve, right? So when you are serving on the water bodies and you are enjoying, always remember SURF. Share your report, update staff, resolve issues, and always follow up so that things get as expected. How do you do it remotely? The follow-up. Why do you need it at all? First of all, it shows commitment and consistency. So assuming that after a team visits you, 1 month later, 1 week later, 3 days later, they call you and say, oh, I'm so and so. I visited you 2 weeks ago. We discussed this issue. I took you through using monthly immunization monitoring chart. I'm following up to see whether this month that has ended, you are in position to do it yourself. And if there are some challenges that you have, how happy will you be hearing from a superior, a supervisor, after a visit to your end? Build trustful relationship, ensure continued improvement, and then provides another opportunity to correct performance and clarify expectations. These are very, very helpful. And then topics to cover. It should be about the general well-being, always. In fact, I worked in the East African countries some few years ago, and I picked up one thing. They never override the general well-being and what they call self-love and care for each other. So it's not about killing yourself for the job. Be interested in people's well-being. And you see how connected they will be with you. So they see, yeah, Kiongozi is Kamo, Mambo, Maraba, like they are just interacting, they let you feel that your well-being is the paramount thing. Every other thing aside that is secondary. And that is what I think we have been missing. And it helped me change my mindset about how to see work. Yes, you must work, you must be diligent, you must be critical, you must be all this, but always show concern about how people are doing. And once they feel you care about them and you are concerned, they would wholeheartedly support every other thing that follows. But immediately, you are just not looking at that. And you are focusing on the work, you blindfold them. And you are there speaking irrespective of your status, but they really don't care about whoever you are. So important updates from both sides, your end and from their end, progress on the planned activities, discuss the problems with applying the skills you have learned. So you visit the team. Okay, I was here 3 months ago. So recently I went to Savannah. I said, okay, I was there in Savannah for some GIS training. After the training, I'm following up to see how the training have been. Are there any issues, any challenges, any lessons? Is there a way we could be of help? You get it? Then we discuss those issues. It also opens up and it gives you the opportunity to support them if there are any challenges that come up after the training. In summary, for your supportive supervision or all what we have been talking about, it is geared towards you improving service delivery, improving your indicators. It's not just about that. So you can force people to, like we said, that you can force the horses to the rivers, but you can't force them to drink the water. You can impart all the knowledge, training, everything. If that aspect of self-motivation is not there, the ABCs, you are not handling it. They don't care about what you are doing. After all, it's government way. What can you do? You give them query, you do what? It doesn't really add up. What you need to do is to create a supportive environment. And in creating a supportive environment, we are saying that focus on the observation, handle the data analysis aspect, have a dialogue, give feedback, and that we discuss using the ALMR approach. The second aspect I want to remind you we have discussed today is motivating and providing support. And I talked about the actions you need to undertake to motivate staff, the ABCs, okay? You are making them autonomy, granting them autonomy, the A. You are helping to build their competencies or you are building what we mean, their capacity in all that. And eventually they see, what are you also doing? You are just engaging them such that they are confident and their confidence level goes up. If they are confident, they are okay. So provide performance support. So there's a gap. How do you fill in the support? That is your role as a supervisor. Eventually, you must, in summary, you must also collaborate and plan. Keep time for joint problem solving. Don't go, you want to spend 1 hour, spend all the 1 hour with them. And then you finish, then come on, move from supervisors, move visitors logbook, you just want to write your name and go. No. Create time within the slot you have to spend there. And then make it realistic and develop a plan with them. Have a strategy to solve their problems. When you are done with all this, write a report that you want to share. Share a report with them. And once you share the report with them, follow up. So we talked about the self. Share the report, update it, update them on new things, resolve the issues, and follow that up. If you are able to handle all this, it's very, very helpful, and it will bring your team and your staff. So you realize that now you are going out for supervision, but with this discussion, your thinking and your mindset should not just be the business as usual. The expectation is that you go out there and you supervise differently. When you do supervision differently, you get different results. And trust me, those of you that will brood over this will think through, apply this concept within immunization space to disease surveillance, to family planning, to non-communicable disease, health promotion, nutrition. The principles are the same. Apply them there, and you see that even your staff would, if they are confident enough, one day they'll call and tell you that, boss, it's like you have changed. Those days, Uber monitoring, penny we come, we are so now, hey, Uber. But now it's like you are calmer. You give hearing, you understand, you solve problem with that, you develop action plan, you follow through. Things are changing. You won't do that in a day. It takes time and the skills you have to build yourself. But the whole goal is that this section would expose you to how you can tune your mindset to supportive supervision, to real provide supervision that is supportive and not thing that does not encourage learning at the lower level or wherever you find yourself. I would just consciously want to make time so we could have some discussion sections We have 20 minutes. Let me move to next. So there are some resources that I will share with you. There are Immunization Academy videos and there's MLM. I will share with you. You could explore all of them later. Last year, I shared some of the links with you to explore for your own use. To this one, when we are done, I'll share some with you. I will pause here for some quick questions. After that, then I will dive into aspect of tomorrow where we will be discussing the issues of data related, as in digital renovation, transforming the health and the collection of smart tools. So Adiza, if you are on, I want to pause here at this juncture. Let's take a few questions, clarifications, if any. And then when we are done, I will just introduce them to what we will do tomorrow. And then we would be able to move faster than planned, because tomorrow I will want them to do more of practicals. Over to you.
Thank you very much. That was very insightful. Our audience, I hope you enjoyed this session. Please, if you have any question, kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Or better still, you can just type it in the chat box. I'll read it out to him. Hello, am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay, Asari Buafu.
Yes, please.
Okay, kindly ask your question. Asari Buafu, we are waiting. Anna is back for Asari, sorry. Hello, anyone?
Everything went well, so it was okay.
Are you sure you don't have any question?
No question.
Okay, that's fine. Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Charlie, I'm not a professional, but I just want to ask this question. What if you have a supervisor who is opposite of whatever you said? How do you deal with that?
So where do I write it?
Okay, that is interesting. So if you have a supervisor who is directly opposite this, you, the supervisee, it will be challenging for you. But sometimes, like it is said, your positive light can let people see the light. Okay, so if you, with this training session, can show or exhibit some of these qualities as a supervisee, then you are likely to supervise the supervisor who is coming. So when the person comes, when the person comes, 1, 2, 3 words shouting at you, you say, okay, I appreciate that. That is the way you talk. Can you please speak undertone so we could respectfully hear each other? The person now sees that, you are putting him on the right toes because you know something that he doesn't know. And over time, when that happens with other places he visits, he will sit down and with retrospective, he will say, I think I'm not doing something right. But for me, the best recommendation for persons like this is that let them join short courses like this, and then they will now have the opportunity to hear from a different mindset, different view, and it hits them just like a pastor will preach some words, some lessons, and it hits you. You go back, you brood over it, and you change over time. So that is the best way to help. But it's difficult if you work with a supervisor who does not, in fact, is opposite all these things. The person then got to be a supervisor by chance, not by merit. Okay.
I
And
agree with that.
sorry for you if you have a supervisor like that. It will be very, very challenging.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my other I don't know if it's a question or a suggestion. With regards to the motivation, money is not part. So I'm just suggesting that why not, but now we have a whole lot of organizations trying to implement courses or bring out courses in public health and other profession fields. I think MasterCard is currently, I think, partnering with tech to I think enroll people in master's degree, which is I think it's fully funded. So why not partner with these kind of organizations to maybe be like a motivation for some professionals to be able to enroll in by merit, just like as you said earlier on, so that it will be another source of motivation for them. Not only them having sense of belongingness, inclusivity and all that, but that's also. Thank you. I think that's what I have.
Yes, it's a comment and it's very laudable. So in fact, as a service, once a while, those offers do come up. And when some of these offers do come up, in fact, supervisors or managers nominate people to enjoy these packages. So it is there, bits and pieces. So there are people who have enjoyed scholarships or offers or travels and all that because the managers have identified them and given them the opportunity to do so. Okay. Can you check whether there are some questions or not? If there are no questions, then we could just introduce people and so we don't go beyond the 2
I
hours.
think we don't have any questions in the
good.
chat. Yeah, we don't have any questions.
Okay, good. So thank you. Let me introduce us to this aspect of tomorrow's section where okay, is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So tomorrow's aspect is, you see, in the discussion, I had mentioned collect data, use data, do this, do that to make informed decisions. Then as you are going for monitoring, supervision, the checklist and all that. Now the world is a global village and no need to be cutting down a lot of trees. So especially in public health, we need to make use of smart tools. As a country, and fortunately, I happen to be one of the team members at national level supporting deployment of some of these tools in the country for use. But individually, I think that they are low-hanging fruits and we need to tap in it where you could all generate your own questionnaires, checklists, clinics, harvest the data, analyze it, clean it, do the dashboard, do everything yourself. But for the section of this year's CPD, I'll only whet your appetite into generating the forms, the checklists into ODK, and then we can hold another, unfortunately, Al Haram or whatever at the CPD consortium here we have, they only do it once a year. But we could have a top-up section for people who are more interested. And I'm ready to build skills in data analytics and dashboards, where we could do a lot more solely on that hands-on. If it even means having one day in person to demonstrate some of the things, I'm ever ready to support that, okay? That is the way to go now. Okay, so the public health is actually entering a new era, and digital tools are actually the heart of it. As a synopsis, I'm saying that discover how platforms like Kobo Collect's Toolbox, the Google Form, and other smart data collection tools can transform your profession. If you are really ready to ditch paper forms and embrace faster, more accurate data collection methods, then this section or this course would show you how to lead the digital revolution in public health practice. Now, the digital revolution, so revolution means what? Not the military revolution, coup d'etat and all that, no. But there's a revolution happening in public health, and that is the digital revolution. One of our candidates is also speaking about digitalization and all that. Why is there the need to shift from paper-based to digital systems? It has a lot of benefits. Real-time data collection, analysis, enhanced accuracy and reliability, improve accessibility and decision-making are all some of the benefits that you want to know. Why digital tools matter? One, I remember those days when we used to do campaigns before 2019. The national team will go out with plenty paper in the pickup or in the car. They will fill all the forms and write on it, complete the checklist. They will come. 2 months, 3 months, we still never analyze that data. We can't get any meaning out of it. District level, the same, regional level, the same. But now, trust me, that time-consuming, laborious process, apart from just cutting down trees and doing all that, gets handled because of digital tools. The error rate, transpositional errors, collating figures, doing all that, creating a lot of headaches are all off. I remember when I joined the service early, before we moved to DHIS2, and then, no, before the DHIS itself, the online, there used to be an standalone offline, there used to be one in the access, and there used to be manual before even the electronic one. That time, just about 17, 20 years ago, anytime it is end of the month, you are sick. You are sick because you just don't want to fall sick, but it's because you are now thinking about the monthly report you have to collate. You collect plenty reports, and the whole week before the month ends and 7 pass, and you have done your work at the district level and you have submitted, travel to the region to go and submit, you are exhausted. The errors, they will call you, hey, I'll figure away anyway, in fact, anyway, it was so much. It was so much. So it is very, very important we handle digital tools. Address public health needs. We need it for efficient monitoring. We should be able to say, this time, that time, we have done A, we have done B. We need quick responses to health crisis, okay? Now, smart tools and data collection. A typical example is the Kobo Collect, the Kobo Toolbox. So it's a suite, just like we have Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office is a suite, now Office 360, which comprises Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Access, and all that. So the Kobo Toolbox is also a suite, a collection. It has a server part, it has the collect itself, and then your ability to connect each of them based on what you need gives you the work you need to do. There's another one called the ODK, the Open Data Kit. And I must be honest, I mean, ODK, as it has popularly been used globally, was developed or initiated by a Ghanaian. You could Google that, the founder of ODK. I have had a privilege to meet him in one of the seminars outside the country, and so humble a person. Meeting him, you could just Google to know. Anokwa is his name, okay? So young a man who has a broad team, and now ODK is worldwide. Owner is also one of them. It helps to collaborate and to integrate tools. That I use the owner server for the country's data sources and the ODK as well. So the ODK toolkit is actually also a suite. So there's the ODK collect, there's the ODK server itself, and there's the ODK central. But you normally use on your phone is the collect, which will now feed into another one. Okay, good. And then there's also the Google form. Very simple and accessible. But you have, yes, very simple and accessible for survey creation. And all of you should be able to make use of this at a click. Okay. Now, what are some of the features? One, it is always real time and it gives you real time data access. You don't need to call somebody, go, no, real time. You go in there, what is there is there. Two, offline functionality. Most of these ones, when you don't even have internet, immediately it will still work for you. And that is good. Customizability. You are able to design, suit, change it, and let it fit any other thing. And I've used most of these tools to do a lot of contracts or projects. And that fetches you good money. You understand? So aside whatever you are doing, these basic tools and skills that you have, don't just train yourself for the service. Train yourself for yourself first, and then sell yourself. When you sell yourself, you will then realize that, oh, when you are always enjoying this cocoa and kose, not knowing there is some pizza added to kose and cocoa somewhere that you could also enjoy. And the rest, you just be whetting your appetite till you get there. But train yourself for yourself because you want to train yourself and not because for the service. There are a lot of the things that man have learned over the years when the system was not even really making use of it, but now has become very useful. You get it. So that is one way I also want to encourage you. Data security, most of them are also things you must be sensitive and have a good security systems to manage it. Now, transforming the health outcomes, faster decision making, very important, real-time data, better results, resource allocation, stronger public health intervention supported by data, and every decision that you do is on point because you have good data. Then what is the call to action I want to give? Adopt digital tools. So always stay ahead of public health management related issues. The second thing, build capacity. Train your team, yourself and your team effectively so that you can stand the test of time. Otherwise, a time will come. Remember when I joined the service, there were people, when we were migrating, moving to IT and all that, they say, oh, and you see, those people who decided they would not do it. When Legon started BPH, they say, go, let's go do degree. Pioneers, they say, it's too expensive. That I remember, that is 7 million, 3,000, hey, it's too much. See, those people who refuse to do it, they now have regrets. You get it? So your ability to cope with the test of time keeps you apart, and you are always not left out in the hooks, okay? So that is something you must also take note of. And make an impact. Try as much as possible to be part of the revolution that will make the impact. This is how I wanted to introduce the section we'll be handling tomorrow to you. The other one is, Sharifa, do you have a platform or a system of reaching out to all the participants? I want to share some resources ahead of time and also want them to download a few apps so that life becomes easy for us before we meet tomorrow. Is that possible? You can assist me with that?
Yes, we can assist you with that.
Fantastic. So after the section, I will share a few things they must do before they join tomorrow's section so that life becomes very easy for us. At this juncture, I want to end here and leave it to you as a coordinator. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we are very glad to have you once again. You are very passionate about what you do, and I really love that about you. To my audience, I think you still don't have any questions. Does anyone have any question to ask? Okay, I think we don't have any questions.
Hello.
So, okay. Yeah, hello.
With the points, with the trials we'll be doing tomorrow, is it possible that they will all be, at least we are using just a phone, we'll all be able to be done on the phone whilst watching the video too at the same time?
Oh, okay, yeah, I get you. So I would encourage that if you have a laptop, do well to connect one of the device. Say, for example, connect on the phone or connect on the laptop and you do it on the phone. You do some of them on the phone and you do some on the computer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Asuomini.
I think, Mr. Sadi, you can take your leave now. I think the audience don't have any further questions. And if there is any further questions, I'll let you know about that. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay, thank you very much.
A great session.
Bye-bye. Yes.
Bye. We are
Once
glad to
again,
have you.
apologies for joining late. Things went out of time, and that is why I was late. Apologies once again. Yeah.
Apology accepted. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay. To my audience, I think bye for now. We'll meet tomorrow, same time, same venue. Enjoy your evening. Bye for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.